So welcome to session 8 of our REA 9 mini-series on getting started with REA. Today's session is called Creating a Suspect List and Marketing to Your Contacts. That means that today we're going to be bringing up one of those groups that we've learned how to create and send a mail merge out of REA to those contacts that are in the group. So I'm going to go ahead and start off here in my contacts. Most of the time you generally want to do the sending from contacts, primarily because if you're sending from properties and one person owns, say, 5 properties, then that person would get one letter for each one of those 5 properties. Now you can do a query for the property owners that you want to send to from the properties using the methods that we talked about in the querying webinar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a group of contacts that I want to send this out to. It's going to be all of my property owners in Van Nuys, California. So I'm just going to start off quickly, do a query for the city is Van Nuys, and I want to send a mailer out to all of these owners of these properties. So I have 200, well, I'm going to limit it down a little bit more. I don't want to send to 246 people. So I'm just going to also say between 10,000 and 15,000 square feet and drill down. So that'll bring us with 48 properties, and I want to send to the owners of these 48 properties. So I'm going to go up here to look up and go to linked. And if you remember, we can go here to owners to bring up the actual owners of those properties. So now we have the 48 contacts that we're going to want to send to. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a group. That way I can use this as a marketing group multiple times in the future. So I'm just going to go here and create a new group and name it Van Nuys Owners. And hit OK. And I want to add my 48 contacts, so I'm just going to right-click and add lookup to add all 48 of these contacts to the group. So we have our list of contacts that we want to send to. So these are going to be our suspects that we're going to do marketing campaign to. Now I'm also going to make another group of a few emails of my own email address. I generally suggest this whenever you are sending out a mailer, is have a group of a few of your own email addresses so you can test it and see how it looks when you send it out to yourself before you actually end up sending the mailer to all of your contacts. So I have a group called test group. I'm just going to remove everybody from that group and add the contacts that I want. So I'm just going to add a few contacts here. So I've got, let's say I want to add this one, so it'll send to Bobby at BobbyBabbis.com. I'll add this one so it sends to my GoREA.com email, and can also add Fizzy here so it sends to notbobviously@gmail.com. So I've also got my test group. So I'm actually going to work with the test group today. That way I don't send out an email blast to a bunch of contacts in my database that they wouldn't remotely be expecting. But it works the same if you want to do the test group as it does if you want to do the full Van Nuys owners group. So the next step is to create the letter that we're wanting to send out to our owners. Now that is done under the Write menu. Under Write we have a few different options. One of them is Mail Merge. Mail Merge is what we're going to be using once we've created the letter. So what we're actually going to go to first is Document Templates. This is where we can create the template that we want to send out to our owners. So we can either hit New to start off completely with a blank template, or if you already have a Word document that you want to use as your body of the email that you're going to send out, you can import a Word document right from here as well. I'm just going to start with New and go from there. Importing works the same. It just opens it up with a brand new, or with whatever was in the letter to begin with. Next, we're going to go ahead and name the template. So this is going to be Van Nuys Mailer. Type, we're going to change it from letter to email. So that's really dependent on if you're going to send out an actual letter to your clients or if you're going to send it out via an email. I'm going to do this all through the email. It's a little bit simpler to do it as a as a letter, just because all you do is it'll end up bringing up the Word document, and you just print it out and send it out. Here for 4, we want to change that to contact. That way it can pull the contact fields in from REA into the actual letter. So once we have these all set, we can just hit OK, and it's going to open up a blank Word document. It opened up my other monitor. Hold on, let me bring it over here. And so we have a blank Word document. So this is where we're going to decide what the letter actually looks like. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is put in Dear, and I want it to put their first name into there. So on your ribbon here, it's going to be a little bit different if you have a Word 2003. You'll have to find the Insert Merge field button, and usually you have to go around highlighting the buttons. When you hover over it, it'll actually say Insert Merge field. But on 2003, it's directly to the left, generally, of the button that says Insert Word field. So it's a really nondescript looking button in 2003. So here, if we click on this drop-down box, we'll see actually different fields from REA that got pulled over. So like the contact's full name can go in, the contact's first name, and you're actually able to set this so any of the fields from the database that you're sending the letter out from is able to go into the letter. So I wanted to put contact first name, so it'll say Dear and then Dear Bobby, Dear Fizzy, Dear Mary, and so on. And then you can start typing out the actual body of the email or insert any images, hyperlinks, or anything like that. I'm going to go ahead and insert an image. Let me just find one over here. Photos. Okay, we're going to put a lovely picture of some penguins in there. So this being Word, you're able to use it just like you would any other Word document. So you're able to do a little bit of design, move the actual stuff around, add tables and so on, all of your heart's content. And also if like you have a PDF that you're going to be using as this, you can usually just copy and paste the entire body of the PDF and paste it right into the body. And usually it'll look roughly the same. You might have to do a little bit of changing around, moving around the items. I'm also going to make this picture a hyperlink, so when they click on it, it'll actually go right to GoREA.com. Or click here. I'm going to right-click and add a hyperlink here as well. Now, if this is going to be a letter that's used by multiple people in your office, so it's going to be like a default template, like for example, to just make first contact with your clients. Well, you don't necessarily want all of the to just put Bobby Babis in here, because if, let's say, Tim on my team sends it out, he doesn't want it to have my name in the email. So additionally to the fields that are here for like the contact fields, there's also a section that says like my name, my title, my company. So if I put that in there, my name, when I'm logged into REA, it'll pull that information out of REA by whatever is filled in under Tools, Options, under the User Information tab. So if I'm logged into REA, it's going to have my information here, whereas if Tim's logged in, it'll have his information. So you can use those my name, my address, and so on to fill in your own information for a template that can be used by multiple people in your office. So when you have the letter all set, the template, how you want it to send out, you just hit the Save button. You don't actually want to do Save As because it saves it in the central location, so REA will know where that file is from this point going forward. So now we have our template and we're ready to send out. So the first thing to do is to do a query for the contacts you want to send this mailer out to. So this ultimately is going to go to Van Nuys owners. So when I'm ready to send it to them, I'm going to right-click on that group and activate that group. But for right now, I want to send it out to my test group so I can send it to myself to see what it looks like first. So again, I highly recommend having a group with a couple of different contacts in your database that have email addresses that you have access to so you can see what it looks like. You can go and send it to a Gmail account, to a Hotmail account, to your own business account, and so on. because sometimes emails are going to look different on different locations. Not to mention, if you have one that's set up on your iPhone, one that's set up on your phone, you can see it on your phone or iPad to see what the formatting looks like on a smaller scale as well. So I'm just going to right-click and activate the group for the test group, and I have those 3 contacts in there. One sending to BobbyBabbis.com, one sending to the Gmail account, and one sending to my GoREA.com account. So now, once you have your group up, we want to go to Write and choose Mail Merge. This will actually start the process of merging. Now, first off, we have Select Merge Type. There's 2 different options you can do for sending emails. One of them allows attachments and one of them does not. So we're going to actually just do the most basic version, which is email with optional attachments. However, if you prefer to, like if you're sending out an actual letter, you would just choose letters to do that, and that can also print out envelopes and labels. We actually have set templates in here for the most basic envelope and label types. So if you have like a 3-column by 10-row Avery 2160 labels that you wanted to print out, the letters can actually do that as well as the envelopes or labels. But we're going to do email right now. However, you can also do manual to send out the email, but it does not allow for attachments to be sent. So I want to actually include an attached document. So I'm going to hit Next. The next option is Select Contacts. So you can use this just to send out to the current contact you currently have open. However, if you want to send to all of the contacts that you currently have queried, you do All Contacts in Current Query. So we hit Next, and the next option is to select the document template. Well, the one that I'm sending out today is the Van Nuys mailer. That's the Penguin document we just made. So we'll select that and hit Next. Next here is going to be what shows up in the subject for your clients. So I want to put, check out this exciting penguin. It looks like a tux. So I'm going to hit Enter. And I also want to attach a file here. So here where it says Attachments, if you just click on the plus, it'll bring up the Attachments window, and I want to, let's say, attach this and this. So I have an image and an Excel spreadsheet being attached to the email, so those will also get sent out. So then I just hit Next. And the next option is to create a history record. So that way, on these 3 contacts or 72 contacts or however many contacts you are currently viewing and you're sending this out to, it'll show up as a history that you sent that at the time and date that you're creating this. So under Subject, I'm just going to keep it as Van Nuys mailer. Sent the info for the Van Nuys property owners. And you can also have it attach a copy of the document to the history record. So if like a week down the road you want to see exactly what it looks like that you sent them, it'll be available right in REA. So once again, we'll hit Next, and it's ready to begin. So we'll just hit Next one more time and see what happens. We'll take just a second here for 3 contact records. I have additional security, so on. Yeah, if you could get this message, by the way, you might want to talk to your IT because they'll have to actually allow it through. We don't actually send mail merges out of REA, so that's that. Okay, so that should have sent out now. And we can go into our sent items to see what it actually looks like. So it sent one to Bobby@BobbyBabbis.com, one to not Bobbyisly at Gmail, and one to BobbyBabbis@GoREA.com. So I should be receiving that email in just a second here. And so now we can go, since we sent it to our test group, see what the email actually looks like when we open it. Well, looks pretty much exactly like it was. We see that the picture is linkable. If we click on it, it does indeed bring us to the website that we told it to send us to. So that actually turned out well. However, if something went awry, like something's over too far or it doesn't look quite right, now's the time, because you sent it just to a test group to make sure that it looked proper, that you could go in and make any changes to your document just by going to Write, Document Templates, selecting that template that we created at the beginning, and hitting edit to make changes to the document. So that's why we create that test group, to make sure it looks proper, and if it doesn't, can make changes accordingly, or if we notice that something's missing, we can do that. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a safety net. Now, another thing that I want to quickly, briefly talk about before we finish up today is, in addition to sending the mail merge right out of REA, there's actually, in the latest update 9.18.4, under the right menu, there's an option to export to constant contact. So that'll export a list of the contacts that you're currently looking at. So these 3 contacts, it'll export them to a constant contact account. You just need your username and password, so you do have to have a constant contact account before doing this. But it allows you to use a third-party email program and marketing campaign program to export these contacts directly to constant contact. And it has a link right here if you don't have an account to sign up, and it'll give you the different pricing options and everything right from there. If you do a lot of marketing emails on your end, definitely would suggest using something like Constant Contact over necessarily using like just the mail merge functionality, just because a program like Constant Contact lets you organize marketing campaigns more so than just like sending out an email to everybody. You can actually, whenever they reply or click on a link in there, you can see all of the statistics for how many people clicked on links and so on. So that's a new feature in 9.18.4. You can always check and see what version of REA you have by going to Help and About REA 9. So that's what I currently have. If you're on a later version or a previous version, you can always go to Help and check for updates. So that is, in a nutshell, how to market using the mail merge function, and a little bit about the constant contact feature in REA. We'll be on our next webinar on Friday, which will be the tips and tricks webinar, which basically just covers some things that I didn't actually have like little short snippets of things. So that'll be on Friday.